All right, so now we are in Oregon, in the Willamette Valley with limited edition Chenin. So we were actually just out there with them a few weeks ago.
Like a month at this point, yep.
Yeah, and they had just been finishing bottling, I don't think this one, but a few of the wines. We helped basically bring in the last of the harvest. And when we tasted through all of them, we just tried this one and we were like, boom, like this is the Thanksgiving wine. That's why it's going in all the clubs, except for obviously red and orange. And y'all are very lucky because they literally only had the exact amount of cases we needed to put it in the club with like 8 left over. So we put a few in like the Thanksgiving box for anyone that buys it, but otherwise like no one else is going to be able to have this one because it's just, there was not enough.
And those of you who have been with us for a while would probably recognize limited edition because we put the Cab Franc in a club box maybe like 8 months ago or so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We really like Bree and Chad's wines, and they're doing some super cool stuff up in the Willamette Valley. Obviously, Willamette Valley is very well known for Pinot Noir, and one thing that they're really trying to do is kind of use different grapes in their winemaking, because if you think about it, like when everybody's planting Pinot Noir and everybody's harvesting Pinot Noir, kind of everything's happening at the same time, right? So everybody that's harvesting is doing it on the same day, same 2 days, like everything happens at the same time. And because of that, there's labor shortage problems, there's issues with, people all over the place, like just pure mayhem for a couple of days. And it like kind of follows that cycle throughout the winemaking process. When you have different grapes that people are, maybe not that ripen at different times, that allows the, winemakers to spread out their harvest a little bit, give everybody a little bit more like steady, consistent work throughout the season. And it's way better for the kind of like winemaking economy within the Willamette Valley.
Also, if Pinot Noir sucks that year,
True,
then everyone's kind of in the same boat versus, they have 7 or 8 different varietals. So like if one's just not doing it, then they can, let that one sit for longer until it actually does something. And it's not like they're going to just be totally screwed that year.
Yeah. So like when we were there, we helped sort the last of, I think it was Grenache that was still coming in. And it was like, middle of October or whatever. Even though the Pinot Noir had been harvested like beginning of September. So really cool project. Love what they're doing. Really like their wines. You'll probably see more in the future. I would have to, if I had to
For
guess.
sure. We have a special project that we're about to launch with them as well. So we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, Chenin.
So Chenin's always great for Thanksgiving. It's an amazing choice. And this one just has a few extra aspects to it that Bree made winemaking decisions on, that I think really like elevated, I guess would probably be the right word for it. So first of all, she was telling us she scared the crap out of her growers because she buys all of her grapes from local growers, and she was waiting till the last minute to harvest because she wanted the sugar content to be a slightly higher. I think that was why, right? And then there was something else about it, like it's not quite, it doesn't have botrytis on it. It's not quite that, but it's just like a bit more of like a late harvest style of Chenin. And then she also let it stay and go through mallow for an extended period of time with lees contact even after the fact. So what that's telling us is that it's probably going to be incredibly creamy. It also will likely have like honeyed notes to it, just based on the fact of like how late the harvest was and the fact that it had so much lees contact. So with that in mind, let's actually smell it.
Yeah. So for me, I definitely kind of get that honeyed aspect on the nose. Kind of especially on like kind of the second and third, like tertiary flavor, like that really comes through for me. Color's great too. Like it's got that kind of like slight pale gold color to it almost. That I think is really nice as well. What are you getting?
I just keep wanting to drink it. And then I remember that we're not on that part yet, but it just smells so good.
Also, it's like the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of videos to do.
This is how it always is. So it's like definitely like it's honeyed, and like normally like when it's really lightly honeyed, I'll say it's like honeysuckle. I would say this is like a little step above
nectar.
All right, sure. Yeah, that sounds good. And then the creaminess, like you can't really, or I can't normally like smell the creaminess that easily. Like you can kind of smell like a biscuitiness to it maybe.
Yeah.
But normally you get that more on the palate. Did you just drink it?
Yeah,
are you cheating?
Yeah.
And then when you get down here, so like that's again, like I'm getting those things at the top, like I'm getting less of the honeyed notes when I put my nose in at the very bottom of it. And that's really where I'm getting more of the fruit. And the fruit is more like it has some lemon to it, but I would say it's more taking a back seat and it's like kind of candied or whatever, versus the first thing I'm really getting are the apples. And now I have the apple person here with me, so I can actually figure out what the apple is. The like, I think it's like the crisp one, is that Honey Crisp? It has a little bit of that, but it also has like the yellowy one that.
Oh, those yellow ones that everyone hates.
What?
I don't like those apples at all. You mean a green apple, like a Granny Smith, or the yellow
the other
ones?
one, the yellow ones that have more like sugar content.
I know the one. I don't know.
I don't think everyone hates those. Anyways, let's try it. Oh yeah, man, that is just so nice.
It has excellent, like really good body to it. Structurally, like it's really, really nice. I think that's from the mallow, right?
Yeah, so
malolactic fermentation.
A lot of times it gives you like a weightier mouth feel. And so like it's like really more medium bodied. It's not, kind of like singular and like direct and straight through. It's like lingering and like coating, and like we have that honeyed thing happening with it. So it's just kind of like hanging out and chilling and feels really nice.
And I think having that extra heft to it helps stand up for the foods that you might see at your table during Thanksgiving. Like that's one reason we really, really liked it, because typically, when I think of like those like really like kind of richer wines, it's not really a style that I love, but this, because it's the Chenin, it's like low alcohol, it has structure, but it's not like a big fat buttery Chardonnay or something.
No, it still feels very fresh and crisp.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I like it a lot.
And like, as we always say about pairing, it's like you want to pair things that taste the same. And so like all of the wines that we're putting in here are going to work great. Like Riesling is going to be like do really well at Thanksgiving, but like, also it has the waxiness you expect from Chenin. That's the other part of the mouthfeel. So it's medium bodied and it has that waxiness. So that plus the idea that it has like even these like little honeyed notes, like that's just going to be like extra perfect when you put it with like your sweet potatoes or your gravies, or like it's gonna like it goes perfect with everything. But just like the idea of like what's normally on the table at Thanksgiving, I just feel like this is so perfect for it, because it's not only like combating it with the acidity, it's also matching it so that like it's really creating what the perfect pairing should be for it.
Yeah. Or if you're watching this in like March 2022 or something, any food, it's food friendly. It's a really, really food friendly one.
For sure. It could go with all kinds of stuff. And like, actually, I should have asked her what she thinks on this. I feel like you could probably put it with some spicy foods. Nothing too crazy, because the acid's still quite high, and I don't think it has very much residual sugar left, but I think it has some, and that will help.
Totally. I'm already done with mine, so
all right, enjoy.